Hello and good evening. It's Tuesday night. It's time for Queen's Table here on Pageant Land, and I have another fantastic guest, our lovely Romy Simpkins. It's your Miss Global England finalist. Hello, Romy.
I love that announcement. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have you on here again. We did speak on here many years ago, wasn't it? And you're now going to be back on stage very, very soon doing a new pageant. So we'll start asking about that because I want to know all about it, and I'm sure everyone wants to hear. So why did you choose Miss Global England?
Okay, so Miss Global England is actually one I've been looking at for a little while, since the last time I competed, which may I say is nearly 4 years ago since I've been on a stage, which is I can't believe how quick it's gone. But this is one I've been interested in for quite a while. But the thing is, there's never been a national final in England. So I've never had that opportunity to actually go unless I went at large. And personally, I like the idea of a competition. I like to feel like I've earned the title. I have spoken to the organisation directly before, and I've also spoken to other delegates who have taken part in the international competition to get an idea of what it's about. And to me, it aligns with kind of my morals and my values. And that's all about like empowering women, embracing different cultures, and embodying, this sounds cheesy, but it's kind of true. It's like embodying the beauty within, just recognizing that everyone's really different and unique. And that is actually something that personally aligns with me, definitely in my line of work, owning a dress shop, meeting girls from lots of different backgrounds, women from different backgrounds, celebrating different occasions. And I love being able to be a part of that. So I just felt like it aligns with my personal morals and the things I do outside of pantry. And yeah, I'm just really excited to get on that stage, get going with all my appearances and my fundraising, and actually not only empowering myself, but hopefully empowering others too, who have maybe taken a little step back from pageantry for a little break and want to come back bigger, better and stronger. Actually, my director is kind of like a prime example of that, Daniela Latimer. She's just won Miss Universe Great Britain. So I'm using that as like a true example of what I'm doing as well. So yeah, that's why I've chosen Miss Global England.
Oh, that's absolutely fabulous. I mean, there's so many of us that are absolutely delighted you're going to be back on a pageant stage. And that's going to be Saturday, the 20th of September at the Old Rep Theatre in Birmingham. So it's coming up soon. It's going to come up very quickly. I can see you've been very, very busy on the lead up and been doing lots of appearances. So what appearances have you done so far?
So I've been really lucky to have judged a couple of different systems. At the weekend, I was in London judging the Miss Earth England competition, where Sophia Mayers won. Congratulations, girl! But they were all. I'm so impressed with everyone who took part in that pageant. Like, I love the fact that they had such passion for like the environment and all the causes that kind of come under that. I'm a huge animal lover, so I felt like I could relate, and I was like really interested in what they had to say and how they can make a difference in the world. I've also judged some regional competitions, Miss Hampshire, Great Britain, which was the first one as well. So that's really nice to be able to be a judge on like the first panel ever of that one. I've also been doing more local events because I do think it's actually important as a representative at this stage to work in my local community, helping organisations, different charities. I've been with Plants and Mind, which I know Maria, the owner of that, and we had like an afternoon tea. I did a silent yoga, which was my first appearance, which is great. You have the headphones on and then you suddenly take them off and it's like it is actually silent, but then in the headphones you've got all the music on, and again they're all fundraising for different causes, so different things actually, and still got different ones coming up too. So it's just keeping myself busy in between my job and my shop as well.
Yeah, going on to that, I mean, you've been very, very busy, and what you've done so far is just absolutely incredible. You've been working so hard, but going on to your job as well and your business, we wanted a little chat about being a woman in business. I mean, how do you fit it all in? You absolutely do so much.
So you say that since the last time I competed in a pageant is that my career has changed with owning a business. The last time I did a pageant, I basically stated at my international final is that I want to own a business. And I would say about 5 months after that, I had my business set up, Dress Devotion, which is obviously a prom and pageant specialist dress shop. And I know you've been so great at coming and supporting me and had a dress from me. And I'm looking forward to those photos. We were talking about that earlier. So yeah, but with that, there was kind of two reasons why I went into that. Is one, I wanted something that was close to me, and obviously pageantry, we always need gowns. I have obviously done swimwear before. I customized originally with the Atlantic swimwear brand, and I just wanted to go into something that I can give more to, because each pageant obviously has an evening wear round. But what I realised is there was actually quite a demand in my local area for prom, and it's amazing how it's grown from the first year in 2022 to now. The extent of how many customers I get to meet and all the different schools, and I love that. But yeah, it's busy along with another job, which is working in mental health. And this job, actually, I'm working with people to assess them for like ADHD and autism. So I'm kind of more behind the scenes, not so much as a practitioner, but ensuring that they get the support they need and they get their assessments, because I think that is a massive thing for a lot of children and adults now, is getting those diagnoses and actually, you know, getting support to how to work with those, basically. So yeah, it's just hard to juggle it all, but I don't know how I do it. I think it's because I care. I think it sounds strange, but they're two different jobs, but they're both very rewarding in their own way. So obviously with the shop, I get to empower girls and women to feel great in their bodies when they're trying on my dresses. You'll be surprised when people come into my shop how like they might not have the confidence, or they're unsure if anything's going to suit them. And then an hour of the session goes by and they're absolutely buzzing. And then I'm buzzing. And it's just like an overall great feeling. And obviously I've met some pageant girls come to my shop as well. Some are brand new to pageantry and unsure of what to expect. And it's nice to be able to be there as that moral support and give them like those little tips and everything. Whilst in my other job, like I said earlier, it's about getting people seen, getting people heard, and getting people the support they need. And that in itself is truly rewarding, because whether it's a neurological issue or mental health, it's always important. And I think that is actually the biggest thing I'd say, being in women in business, is that you have to be strong very mentally to deal with everything that you might face with people or your finances, having a personal life. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely full on, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Do you know what? I remember the opening of Dress Devotion because I attended, and I can't believe it's 2022. It only seems like 5 minutes ago. Where's that time gone? But you do an amazing, incredible thing. Like obviously diagnosis for ADHD and autism in adulthood and things like that is, very important, because a lot of people were undiagnosed, back along, and not it wasn't picked up. So they've had to sort of pick the pieces up throughout their life and things like that. And obviously in children, it's just a really important thing to do. So you are a massive inspiration and you do so much. It's incredible. So apart from all these things we've talked about, you also do a campaign for A-sisterhood charity. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, I think a lot of pageant girls will know about A-sisterhood. It's obviously an organisation based here in the UK that is about empowering women and protecting them worldwide. So they kind of support a number of different causes, such as the acid attack victims in India and other causes like FGM. So what I like about A-sisterhood, it's not specifically focused on one niche area. I like the fact that the cost or the funds that will be raised by all us amazing pageant finalists will be split out into different causes. And I know that the charity winner, like some other systems as well, if the top fundraiser might have the opportunity to go to India to meet the people at Sheroes, which I think, like, wow, like I followed them and a few of them have followed me back on Facebook and Instagram, and it would be lovely to actually meet them in person. But either way, just watching their journeys and their experiences and how they've overcome such a massive, difficulty, being a victim of that is something that I look up to and inspire. So it's a privilege to be able to fundraise for them and hopefully help in some way, no matter how big or small it might be. It's always appreciated, isn't it? So yeah, I've been doing some fundraising. And so my main fundraiser at the moment, just so you know, in case you're interested, or anyone out there who's interested, I'm actually doing a raffle with my dress shop where I'm doing a whole year of unlimited dress hire. So what that means is whoever wins the raffle gets a year to have as many dresses as they need to attend appearances. Maybe they've got a pageant coming out. Even my prom girls, there might be a girl who wins and they just need a dress for one night only, and they could be getting it for just £5 if their number is drawn out. So all the shipping is also covered in that. So you don't have to pay a thing. You just have to make sure that I get the dress back at some point and I'll get the dress to you for your upcoming event. And that again is guaranteed for a whole year as soon as my winner is announced. So tickets are still on sale. It's £5 a number, which I think for how many dresses us pageant girls can go through is a great price. And it is, like I said, it is going to a good cause. It is going to A-sisterhood. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know. You can message me privately, anyone out there, or you can go to my PayPal and make payment and pick out your number. If you want a round number, just let me know. But yeah, I just thought that's actually something that I think a lot of us could do with. I know a lot of people in pageantry promote like reusing dresses, and I'm all for that. The weekend I actually wore a dress that I've had in my wardrobe for like last 6 years, and I still got some compliments from it. So I think it shows that you can do that. But I also think what's great about this is that you can just change the different styles each time, and obviously I'll take care of whoever that wins that, and they'll always have a dress and they'll always feel their best in it. So yeah, that's what I'm up to at the moment. I'm thinking of potentially another kind of in-person event, but I'm kind of working on that in the background. But most likely it will be at my shop, if not local to Bournemouth. So if anyone's up for it, most likely the next event I do, if I do an in-person one, will involve cake, because I'm sure Dion or everyone else there who actually knows me is that I'm a foodie and I love particularly cake and cups of tea. I am a sucker for an afternoon tea, so it most likely will consist of that. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled just in case that comes up when I've got time to fit it in. But yeah, the raffle is the main fundraiser at this moment.
That's absolutely brilliant. What a prize. I will be entering myself. I shall be entering. I'll be buying tickets because that is absolutely fantastic. And also, I will say this, you actually have made the best cheesecake I've ever tasted in my life. When you had an afternoon tea many years ago, I actually have never tasted anything quite like it. You are incredible at making cakes and cheesecakes and things like that. So definitely recommend going to one of Romy's afternoon teas. Definitely.
I will kill for a cheesecake right now.
Yeah, so, me too. But I think, yeah, I mean, I've saved a cheesecake, but I've got internationals to go to, so my cheesecake's when I get home. I might have to drive down to Bournemouth to buy one of yours.
That is the prize itself after the pageant, the cheesecake.
Yeah, just go and get a cheesecake. Yeah, it's brilliant. But no, it sounds like you've been on such an incredible journey so far. And all of us here at Pageant Amp, we wish you all the best for the finals in September. You're going to be absolutely amazing. And there's just so many people that are so excited for you getting back on stage.
Oh, thank you. It feels a bit surreal. Like I felt like it needed to happen, but actually it was just thinking, when I've always been a firm believer, you've got to trust the timing of your life, and it came at, fun enough, the perfect time for me. It fits in just right, and with being able to enter a national final, I can prep and make it work with being a person in business and having my own business, particularly having to juggle being able to potentially, if you're successful, to go to internationals. It's a 3 to 4 week event. And I know some people might struggle with that, but I think now we've got time, we can prepare. And that's what has been good for me, is that I'm able to do that. And yeah, the pageant's obviously coming around quite quickly, but it's been very transparent. It's been very clear what's needed of myself as a finalist, and I feel surprisingly very calm about it, and just slowly ticking off things off the list. And I think the main thing that I've learnt coming back after a long period of time, well, I would say that even though I've not been in a while, I feel like because I have been a director in the last few years, I've learned a lot from my queens that I've had over the last few years, their prep for the national finals, internationals as well. And it's made me feel confident that I've still got it, as long as I put my mind to it. And yeah, it's I keep saying I'm getting my mojo back. But yeah, it's exciting actually, and I'm really looking forward to meeting the other contestants. That's something that this time round I am really looking forward to, because the last time I did a national, it was all virtual because of COVID, which is crazy. So it's actually going to be really exciting to be able to go somewhere, attend the night before, have a meet and greet, actually go in person, have your interview, do the on stage rounds, and enjoy the experience with the other contestants. I'm actually really looking forward to that.
Oh, it'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant. And like it's going to be so much fun as well. And it's always great to meet the other contestants and have that, face-to-face experience. But again, yeah, I remember that when you did that all those years ago, but hasn't it flown by? I remember where everyone was watching sort of pageants on their big TVs at home and cheering you on from home. Yeah.
I still take my hat off to you. You know how to use this system, because I remember we used it for one of my pageants, and I still look at it now and go, why does it look so complicated? But I'm getting there with technology. I had one of my prom customers go to me, I've gone viral on TikTok. And she was like, do you have TikTok? And I was like, I've got TikTok for the shop, but I can't say I've ever posted on. I was like, so please, yeah, feel free to tag, feel free to share it. And I was like looking at it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So it shows that you can use social media, obviously, for good causes. I know there's a topic of debate whether how you use it is done in the right way. But that is something that I've enjoyed actually now, is using it to the best way possible, but in a sense of not overdoing it, having boundaries in your personal life, in your hobbies, your work, and everything like that, which is actually, just to like kind of summarize, is kind of like my advocacy that I'm now going by. My former advocacy was to do with like coercive control and narcissism and abuse in a relationship, which I know is a very big, strong topic. But what I've actually learned since doing my last pageant is that we need to look actually at the positives, and we need to look about the green flags of, relationships. And that doesn't mean just with like your romantical partner. It could be with your work colleagues, it could be with pageant friends, it could be with your best friend, it could be with your family. Do you know what I mean? And that's something I'm going to use this title to do. It's to promote more about like positive relationships, knowing where your limits are in terms of your well-being. Putting yourself first is like the biggest thing, when I know it can be hard for people to do that because we have other focuses in life. We care about our family, we care about our pets, do you know what I mean? But equally for me, you've got to look after yourself and be able to look after others. And that is like the biggest lesson I've learned over the last few years, through not competing in my personal life, but also working with people in different sectors in my shop and my other job, and being a director too, is actually learning to like know the boundaries and be okay with saying no to things and doing things on your terms and making yourself feel good. So that's something I'm going into this pageant with, is following my own advocacy, and keeping it in the best place it could be, keeping in that green space, right?
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I can't wait to hear more when you're going to be doing this. It's just such a positive outlook on doing it, because you've learned, taken a step back. But it's so important to have self-care and just take that time out for yourself, because I think we can all just go a bit crazy at times and just maybe overdo it. We've all done it.
Pageant girls, I know you, Dion, and like it's amazing how like on it we can be. We were just talking before about appearances, and like I think a lot of us thrive on like that drive and that sense to go. And I I think that's what makes people successful in pageantry. Don't get me wrong, but it's making sure that it's on your terms and you're doing it for you and not for anyone else. Obviously, you're doing it a part of the competition, but you've got to actually want to enjoy it. I think for me, like, for example, it's doing appearances that actually I'm going to enjoy. The last thing I want is to be going and dreading it or feeling, oh gosh, why am I doing this? And actually, it's got to be somewhat personal to you. And actually you're enjoying the experience, whether it's connecting with people, whether it's like what I did, and doing a yoga session is not something I would normally do. But I actually love the idea that they incorporated it into like a fundraising event, but it was a silent one. So you felt like you could just zone into yourself rather than like being involved with everyone, even though there was hundreds of people there, you wouldn't have noticed it at the time. So I'm just like, it's trying to push yourself out of your comfort zone with appearances, but at the same time, making sure that they resonate with you. So that's what I'm doing with my own advocacy, is making sure it's doing what's best for me. I think it's a big important thing.
Yeah, absolutely love it. It's so important. And like everything you say then, I'm looking forward to hearing more about this, and it's going to be fabulous. So, but thank you so much, Romy. It's been such a pleasure talking to you this evening. It's great to have you back on here. And we are so excited for you in September. We're all going to be cheering you on and can't wait to see you back on stage.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it. And to everyone else who's shown me support, I really appreciate it. It was so nice to, when it was announced, the amount of messages I received, or the comments, like it really meant a lot. And yeah, very excited for this. It's going to come around very quickly. But like I said, I feel ready. I feel good. And I hope everyone just enjoys the show. So yeah, thank you so much.
Fabulous. Well, the internet definitely blew up when you announced it. Everyone was very excited. But yeah, we wish you all the best though. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.